What's up, funksters? This is Sean with Soul Circus. Hope everybody's having a groovy week. We have tons of private parties and weddings this weekend. Our only public gig is Sunday on the big deck at Captain's Quarters, 7 p.m. Come on out and have a gravy-licious time. Get some grease splattered on you. Love, peace, and chicken grease all. And as always, stay tuned to Shooting from the Lip for future Soul Circus dates. Peace.
Let's get busy.
Shooting from the Lip features views and opinions from smart, funny, serious, and not so serious people. This show is intended for a mature and not so mature audience. Enjoy the show!
What is up, everybody? Kevin Hale here for the latest and greatest edition of Shooting from the Lip, Shooting Stars on this Wednesday night, August 3rd, 2016. I'm alive and kicking here with my G-Money man, Greg Unthank. Greg, what's up?
Hey, Kevin. How are you, buddy? Looking forward to tonight. Got some friends on, as usual.
They're always your friends. This is starting to turn into the
Greg Unthank show.
Greg's. It's like Greg's reunion show. It's like a reunion tour, if you will. You're just bringing in all your buddies, which I do dig because there's been some great stories with these shows, and not to mention.
Well, face it, man, I got a lot of friends. It's
you
good
do
to have friends. It's good to have friends.
Friends in high and low places.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah. First segment, we're going to have Bill Keeling on. He is the keyboardist with the group Caribou, the local legendary group Caribou, who is going over 40 years strong. They're still doing their thing. And then second segment, which we thought we were going to have 3 segments, but the second segment got nixed. So our second segment will be Pat Bareis, who is with the Crazy Train tribute for Ozzy, Black Sabbath, Live Bullet tribute for Bob Seger. So Pat is going to be on the second segment. So yeah, it's going to be I think it'll be a good fun show. I get to just sit back
legend night. Legend night. Yeah.
Let's before we work our way into the show, let's do a quick plug. Sunday, it's the 3rd annual Country for the Kids benefit. Starts at 11 a.m. It is at Wick's Pizza in New Albany. This is something that, again, it goes to benefit the Camp Quality in Camp Quality Kentuckiana. That's their organization, the ones involved with this, and a lot of great bands coming out, and one of the bands is Caribou. You got Kirby's Dreamland. You got several other country bands, Wildwood, Jonathan Creek, Smoke. But yeah, something that I'll get to do or be involved with, as I was asked to MC/host the event, which means that I'll be putting in a full day. So I've been, Greg, working on some comedy routine as well. So if I offend less than half the audience, then I'm winning.
Then you're doing your job.
Then I'm doing my job. So,
Kevin, do you know the details of what Camp? Do you know the details of what Camp Quality actually do?
Yeah, what they do, they primarily for kids with cancer. What they do is fund these families, these kids, to be able to go to these camps, these week-long camps, and it's something that's for a week they're helping a kid just be a kid and
be a kid. Get away from stress.
Right. And so it's something that they've been involved with for several years. They had a big event, I want to say back in May. They're the real deal. It's something that I have been involved with for the show to let them come on and promote. It's something that I endorse. The show does endorse, and so yeah, it's Sunday. It will be an all-day thing. Again, I think the bands start at 11 or 11:30, and so.
I see also that Talk Smack Promotions involved in it. I'm sure that Shannon has helped put a lot of this together as well. I know she's also involved and really likes to get involved with things of this nature.
Oh, gotcha. Shannon, our lady with Talk Smack. She's great. So, is that something Sunday you think you're going to be able to come and hang out with?
Yeah, I'll be out around midday, I'm sure. I'll go to church and get out there and head over and make my way out there.
All right.
I can't commit to a time just yet, but I will make the appearance.
There it is. You heard it here, people. Greg Unthank will be in the house at Wicks Sunday. So they need to bring their Sharpie. You do not have a Sharpie to sign those autographs. They bring the Sharpie and the 8x10, and you'll do the
I can put an X on it. I can
there you go
X on the spot. Yeah.
Greg, if you're up for it, let's go into our first segment. Now I think that I didn't even screen him, but Bill Keeling, what's up, man?
Yeah, man. How you guys doing?
Good.
Hey, Bill.
Actually, sounds Caribou. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Bill, this is Kevin. I was telling Greg, we were talking before the show, I said, I'm a Manual alum, and as is Greg, and I got to hear that you guys are too. And I was like, Caribou. I mean, the band was around when I was in high school, so I'm thinking, this band's 30 years, at least 30 years in its lifespan. And then I go out to your website, and it says this band started up in 1974.
That's right. We're class of 74, DuPont Manual. John started the band in 1973.
I think Caribou actually started local music in Louisville.
Yeah.
Some say we did, yeah. Yeah, been around for a long time, Kevin.
Yeah, welcome to the show. No, I was telling Greg, I'm thinking, what were you all like, you and your brother, 7, 8 years old when you, hit the first chord or...
Yeah, we weren't that young. However, we were young and kind of dumb. We were both in the marching band at Manual, when it was a junior high school as well as a high school. So we started out in the marching band. I played trumpet, and John played the sousaphone, and that's how we started our musical careers.
Well,
the
sousaphone,
wow.
Sousaphone. My freshman year at Manual, I was in the marching band. I played alto sax, actually from 4th grade to 9th grade. And I have to admit, it wasn't the cool thing, so I stopped doing it, and I regret that. I totally now look back and totally regret doing it. But, I did have fun at football games being in the stands rather than the field. But anyways.
Yeah, I get that.
Bill, share with us, I'm saying 41 years, and you all started at a young age, young and dumb, which we all kind of do and live and learn. But give us the quick and the painless Caribou experience.
All right, John, my brother, who's a twin, we're identical twins. He started the band by playing, since he played the sousaphone, which is that big tuba thing that wraps around you, that you march. He became a bass player, and as a bass player was bringing musicians in the garage at Mom's house on a regular basis until he found a drummer. Then he was bringing in guitar players and a drummer, and then talked me into joining the band in my senior year, or our senior year. And then we actually started looking for a gig because we had a whole show of about 21 songs, mostly Chicago tunes, because the band Chicago was our inspiration. And then we started looking for horn players, and we would find one here and there, and they would play a week or two and quit. So we called ourselves the horn band, even though we didn't have a horn section. We just had one or two. And that saxophone, Kevin, that's that short one, isn't it? The little skinny, kind of thin saxophone that you play.
You're talking about the instrument or me? Because I was skinny and thin then. I'm not now.
Yeah, the instrument. That's right, the instrument. So we'd find a alto sax player here, and then we'd have a tenor, and then one of them quit. Then we'd have a trombone player, and he quit. And then we'd have a trumpet player. So I was a trumpet player anyway, so I came in the band as a trumpet player. And we started working up a bunch of Chicago tunes and thought that was the thing to do, that everybody, since we liked Chicago, that everybody we played for wanted to hear Chicago. And we found out pretty quick that's not how you do it. You play the songs that the crowd wants to hear so that they get up and dance, you know. So we had to learn that the hard way. And then we expanded from there and started playing the colleges and the frat parties, you know, the usual thing to get us out there. And then that evolved into the Kentucky State Fair one day. We got asked to play in the LRS Rock Tent, if you can remember that. And at that time, it was on the Midway, right smack dab in the middle of the Midway at the Kentucky State Fair. So everybody saw you, and you play 4 or 5 sets a day. And that evolved into our club careers. We went into the Garage Club first. They found out about us. And from there, boy, I tell you what, things took off because we played everybody's prom. And that's what they say about us today. You're the band that played my prom, and you know they're in their 40s. So it's been a heck of a ride, and it's still going strong. I can't believe how much we're playing for old guys. I really can't.
You guys, you sure are. You know, Kevin, I wanted to share this story real quick when I got a call from Bill. It was, I don't know, Bill, how long, about 5-6 years ago or so, and they wanted me to come out. Yeah, sounds right. Yeah, wanted me to come out and audition for the band, and I went out there and I played with them, and they really enjoyed it, and they enjoyed my playing, and they was like, well, man, you know, we'd like you to play with us. What do you think? And I was like, man, this is really great. I said, I'd love to play with you guys. I said, man, I remember, I think you guys played my prom, man. This is great, you know. And they, you know, they were like, oh, okay, yeah, we probably did. I said, maybe I should have said that.
Yeah, that happens all the time, Greg. We're used to that, man. We hear that every time. Yeah.
Was the prom a Chicago theme prom?
Well, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. We were supposed to play, you know, all the hot dance stuff, you know, back in the day, play that funky music and Kool and the Gang, and that's what they wanted to hear. So we finally figured it out. And I got to give credit to a friend. I know he's a friend of Greg's, and you probably know him too, Kevin. Steve Wilson was our mentor.
I seen Steve yesterday.
Did you? Yeah. He got a hold of us when we got to the Garage Club. Of course, we didn't know how to play. We'd never played 6 nights in a row in our lives. We didn't know if our voices were going to hold out. We didn't know if we could even stand up because we all had full-time jobs. But Steve got a hold of us. He said, here's how you do it. And he showed us from top to bottom because, you know, he's experienced. He played with Abraham Rush forever. And he said, no, guys, you're doing this wrong. Do it like this. So all we did was listen to Steve. And we went from the Garage Club over to the Toy Tiger. We played there for almost 2 years, 6 nights a week, 2 weeks in a stint. And we played more than I think any band ever played for a few years running, 4 or 5 years running. And we never had a night off. Sometimes we played 2 gigs in a day. You know, play during the day, one place. That's when you could do stuff like that. That's right. That's when the market would let you do that, Greg. And there was a lot of places to play and a lot of bands running around playing, and everybody knew everybody, and there was always a gig. It's changed a little bit these days, so not as easy as before.
I missed once that again, part. Greg. I didn't get in it. Yeah.
Once again, Greg, we get our Toy Tiger reference. You guys, you're if you're anybody in town, you gotta work your way through Toy Tiger, and you know that's like the stamp, if you will. But
Toy Tiger was man.
Now, Bill, back in the day, you're saying you're doing 5-6 gigs a week, but are you at this time with law enforcement?
No, I retired. Actually,
no. I'm back then. Yeah, when you were doing your gig.
No, I didn't join the police department until I was 32 years old.
Oh,
wow, that was after the band the band had already. We'd changed so many band members, and actually at the time I joined the police department, I wasn't even playing because I took time off to get ready to join the police department. And then 6 months later, John did the same thing, and he eventually got hired a year after I did. He's in his 28th year now. But at the time that Caribou was going strong, no, we just had regular day jobs. John drove a truck, and I worked in a factory. So, no, the law enforcement came way after our music career.
Okay. Oh, okay.
And I would like to I'd like to add, Bill, that here on the show we've had a few episodes, and we like to voice our support for the law enforcement. I know it's a rough time in the United States right now, and we always like to show our support for the law enforcement, for the first responders. And I know that you've been involved in it for a long time. I know John's still involved. I think maybe you or John have a son that's involved in it, and I think don't y'all have someone that's involved with the EMS or the fire department as well? But we're let you know that.
Well, I appreciate that, Greg and Kevin, that you recognize law enforcement. You know, the cops out there are they don't worry about what's said about them on TV or what's said about them on the news. They show up for work every day with their badges on and their uniforms on, and they go to work, and they look forward to going there because they know that they're doing some good. But I appreciate you saying that, Greg. My son's a police detective. Both of John's sons are police officers. Yeah, both of John's are police officers. So we're a law enforcement family, always have been. My older brother was a cop. My grandfather was a cop. You know, it just goes on.
Oh, wow.
So,
I didn't realize how deep it went. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. And I tell you, it's an honor for all of us to serve. You don't have to thank us, but we appreciate your thoughts and your prayers. And these guys that are out there on the street getting shot at and injured and killed, their families are hurting. So that's who you really need to think about.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Now, here's going. I'm going back in time, and I think it was you and or your brother. But I was familiar with Caribou back in the late, I guess, 80s, and I remember I was a frequent Tuesday night at the Louisville Gardens. Do you remember what that was back in the day?
I was wrestling.
Well, I don't know if
I asked Bill.
Kevin.
I gave up my redneckness, didn't I? I showed my neck.
You know what, Kevin? I'm not admitting. I'm not admitting to anything. Okay, so you go right ahead and talk.
Either it was the two of you, or there's two other people that look like you. And if there's two more that look like you, then I'm calling we're talking either what is that? Was that what is that? Quadruple or whatever? But or you guys may be part of some genetic experiment that you're not even aware of. But Louisville Gardens Tuesday night, good old wrestling, Terry Lawler, Dundee. I just yeah.
Yeah, we were there. That's right.
Yeah, I still listen to Jim Cornette podcasts and stuff. He just cracks me up, and so all right, we're digressing here, but so 80s, 90s, you incorporated the pop dance tunes, and you guys became the it band in town. I mean, and it's the no. Greg, let me ask, Greg. You speak for them. You've been a musician a long time. You say it. What was Caribou to you? All these years.
Well, I mean, like you said, Caribou was the it band. Before I joined up with Caribou, everyone knew who Caribou was. Everybody knew John and Bill Keeling. Everybody had been out and seen them at the fair, at the dance clubs. They knew what they was all about. When I joined up with Caribou, I hadn't seen them in a while, and it was kind of a different than what I thought. The last time I had seen them, they were doing more of the 80s dance scene. And then when I joined up, they had committed to more of a horn band, doing the oldies and the dance stuff, which is really hopping now. Like to play that funky music and like you said, the Cool the Gang and stuff like that. And that really appealed to me. I had never done anything like that before. So, when I got to play that type of music with those guys, it was a hoot. It was a really fun time. Plus, they're as professional as it gets. They always have the top-notch gear. They run a top-notch operation, and that's why they're still playing after all these years. And that's why they still get the cool gigs. They get to the radio station gigs, the high, they're promoted on the radio all the time.
They're on a cool Wednesday night podcast, and they're on a cool Wednesday night podcast. Yeah, exactly.
And that too. Yeah, this is a very cool show.
Too. Add that to your resume, Bill. Now your music.
Did.
Already did. Yeah. I know one thing that you have added to your resume. Didn't you all leave the U.S. recently for a gig,
a
private gig?
I'm glad.
Yeah,
Kevin, I'm glad you brought that up, man. We did a week in San Juan, Puerto Rico. The band played. The entire band got sent down there. We did 2 shows a day, 10 to 4 every day, and then 9 to 12 every night for a very large company annual conference. They put us up in the St. Regis Bahia Resort, which was the most beautiful place I've ever been in. The beach was right there. We played right there at the beach, at the outside bar, every day and every night. And it was the coolest gig I think the band has ever played. Yeah, and it was a gig of a lifetime, man. It was very cool. And we came back, and the band was still intact. That's the amazing thing. We came back, and nobody needed anybody.
Terry Carter you didn't lose him while you were over there?
No, we didn't lose Terry, and Terry has a thing for the beach, so sometimes we had to go kind of find Terry, to say it's time to play again. But other than that, it was great.
Yeah.
Wow. Now, I noticed you didn't mention the company. I'm aware of the company. Let's just say you were Dad's choice to come down and play.
That's funny, Kevin. Yes. Papa asked us to play, so we did.
Yeah.
Daddy.
That's very cool. I like that. Yeah.
You guys are, so how would this gig rate as far as, the 40-plus year career?
Well,
there,
we've been on TV, several times over the 41, 42 years we've been together, and we always thought the TV was the coolest thing you could do because, it went out over such a big area. But when we got the gig to go to Puerto Rico, and I could tell everybody, and we could put it on our website, and we could brag about it, and then we went live on Facebook while we were down there for a couple of tunes, and that was cool, too. So we were broadcasting all over the world, I guess. So I'd have to say this is probably the number one gig we've ever played. Yeah, and we've played other corporate gigs. We've been to Atlanta. We've been to St. Louis. We're going to go to Jacksonville next year. And we've been asked to go to Colorado Springs for the same company that we went to Puerto Rico for. So maybe that's not – we haven't hit our peak yet. Maybe it's waiting for us. So, but the Puerto Rico gig was the coolest gig we've ever played by far. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. You mentioned social media or Facebook. Back in the day when you started and then now, social media has a huge opportunity or a medium to show off, and where now you can reach a lot more people because of social media. How much do you guys use or take advantage of your website, Facebook, whatever?
Yeah, we take full advantage. Our Facebook, and we had to learn this. I mean, it's funny how long Facebook's been around, and we didn't take advantage of it till a couple years ago, maybe 3 years ago. Yeah. But that is an excellent way because it's easy for everybody to jump on their phone, jump on their computer, their iPad, and just check. Oh, let's see where Caribou's playing this weekend, or let's see where this band's playing, and they can immediately find out and make their plans. And if you got something cool coming up, you can send it out. And if you're like my wife, she's constantly on Facebook checking out what's going on everywhere else. You keep up very easily, and it's easier to plan. And I think you get a bigger turnout, and it's obviously easier to reach your following and keep them up to date. And we try to take full advantage of it. Plus the website.
Right.
Of course, you can put so many things on your website. And I think these days, when somebody's looking for a band, the first thing they do is go to YouTube and pull them up to watch them live, to see exactly what they're looking at to buy, and that's a good way to sell your band. So if you can get a good video and get it up on YouTube, boy, you're bound to get some good gigs out of it. And we try to do that all the time.
Very cool.
Back in the day, you had to put posters up on telephone poles with a staple gun to get the word out. We're way past that now, finally.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I was getting ready to say. I mean, you guys have built your reputation back in the old days to where it was all word of mouth, or like you said, posters on the telephone pole or what have you. So
yeah,
credit to you guys to stay around for this long without the social media even. So that's
we've been pretty
lot.
lucky. Yeah, we've been real lucky, Greg, as you know. And I got to say this, Kevin, when Greg was talking about the band, Greg is probably, everybody knows, is one of the best drummers, if not the best drummer in the region. And when he came into the band, the level of the band, the quality of the band took about 3 flights up. I mean, he really raised the quality of the band, and really helped everybody else play, because he lays down such a good groove. All you got to do is fall in it, and he keeps you right on the money. His clock, he's like a clock, and boy, it just made everybody have a lot more fun, and it made it much easier to play when you got that good drive back there, So I just want to get that in, Greg, because that's the truth.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I've heard, actually, what was it, Saturday I was somewhere watching, Brent, Greg, and they were again very complimentary of you, and actually, Bill, I mean, Greg, I've been doing this podcast.
It's cost me a lot of money for these guys to talk good about me, man.
I've been doing this podcast for going a couple of years, and then I've kind of lately branched it out to where Wednesday nights, and Greg has been. I've known Greg for a long time, and I asked Greg to come on because the theme was to promote local music, strictly local music. That's our Wednesday night theme, But I have to say, Greg, actually, I think he's bought into, whether he wants to admit it or not, that he's one of the best drummers in the region, because of the fact that I think he feels like he's one of the best podcast hosts, in town as well now. So that diva status.
Let's be careful.
There's a lot of drummers out there. I'll never admit. I'll never say that I'm the best or even in the top, because there's so many guys out there that I look up to, and they're just not on the podcast having people talk about them. So,
it's the truth. You're right about that, Kevin. He's one of the best musicians. Yeah. He plays so tastefully. It's so easy to play with him because he gets it. He doesn't play over the vocal. He knows where the gaps need to be and where the spaces need to go. And then when it's time to fill, he puts the perfect fill in. And all you got to do is play on it, and you just let him go, and just follow him. That's all you got to do, and you'll be a better musician.
Good. There you go, Greg. Some good sound bites there for you, Greg. This is one, Greg. Greg, we have these guests on who toot your horn like this. How often do you go back and rewind and listen to these little?
Well, pretty soon, man, I'm going to run out of these people. They're going to actually get guys who don't know me. And then I'm stuck,
No, if that's the case, that'll be in about 2020 when
next week that's who likes me? Who can I talk? Who likes me?
Yeah. Now, with every successful band, Bill, there's maybe moments or situations that what was it? Give me a TMZ moment for Caribou.
Oh boy,
something that if that you can tell, and if it was
Okay, here's the moment that I can talk about. All right. Mm-hmm. So we're playing the Toy Tiger. It is a Saturday night, the end of the week. We've been there for 2 weeks. We are wore out. Okay. Motley Crue was at Freedom Hall earlier in the evening, and when the show was over, Tommy Lee and Vince came into the Toy Tiger. All right, lead singer, Vince Neil, and so we're going, okay, we don't know any Motley Crue, but what do we know that they can play, and let's get them up here. So Tommy didn't mind, and believe it or not, Tommy was sober. Okay. So we decided it's going to be Jailhouse Rock, all right? That's a song we all know.
Okay.
Vince did not know the song. He knew of it, but he didn't know the words. And also Vince had had a little bit too much to drink. But he got up there, and they were dressed exactly the way they were dressed when they come off the stage. They just came from Freedom Hall to the Toy Tiger, all right? So here we are. Here we are in our parachute pants, and a couple of guys had spandex on, and here's Vince Neil and Tommy Lee. Tommy goes back behind the drums and just takes off playing. He just starts the song, and he's doing it at 95 miles an hour. All right, so we're trying to do, and Vince doesn't know the words. So the song starts, we start playing. Vince sits down because he's getting ready to fall down, and starts singing words to some song that I've never heard of. Of course, the place is packed, and all the girls have moved down to the front of the stage to get close to Vince. And there's Tommy back there going crazy on the drums, and I'm looking at John. I'm going, what do we do now? How do we end this? How do we get out of this song and get out of here safely? And finally, Vince just laid down and laid the microphone down and stopped singing, and then we stopped playing, but Tommy kept going. And Tommy must have done a 10-minute drum solo, which was okay with us. And we all walked away and left Tommy sitting there playing, and he went crazy. And, of course, he's an excellent drummer. And he did everything he knew, I think, played every lick he knows, and then the whole place erupted. And I looked at John and I said, that needs to be us. We need to be that, okay? So that was our TMC moment. After that, Vince went back to the dressing room, and, a few girls went back there. And we wouldn't go back there because we just didn't want to go back there for obvious reasons. So that's my memory of the toy tiger.
Wow,
in our last
cool
big
story,
thing there.
man.
So
that's the best.
Yeah,
man.
That's a cool story.
Yeah,
and that was pre-Pamela, obviously, right? Yeah. That was pre-Pamela. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no videos or anything by that time. So.
And he didn't have all his tattoos yet and all his piercings. He was still kind of a clean look. He still had the wild hair. He had a lot more hair too. It was everywhere. I didn't realize how tall and skinny that guy was.
Yeah. Was it when they were, they wore the makeup, the kind of the the kind of the glam, the LA glam look. Yeah, that's how they came in the room. Yeah. And when they came in, we were playing. So everything shut down when they walked in. And, of course, immediately we had to get them up on stage. And then it went downhill from there. It went down. But that's a moment, though. That is a moment.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
But y'all we were over there and went way up, though.
Yes, it did.
Yes,
it did. Yeah, a lot of street cred. But we played for a lot of people, warmed up for a lot of people. Greg Allman was over at Toy Tiger back before he came. After his brother died, he went on a little tour, and it was just the Greg Allman band, and they brought him in for one night, and we cleared our stuff off, and we got to sit there and enjoy the concert. And it was the Greg Allman band. I got to meet him, play his B3. That was pretty cool too.
Wow.
So we've been around some pretty big time people.
Yeah, he's one of my favorites. The Allman Brothers are my all-time favorite band.
Yeah.
Now, Bill, this Sunday you're playing at the benefits, at Wick's Pizza. How did you all come about being part of this event?
Well, Jake Badger, I don't know if you know Jake or not.
Yeah.
Jake ran into John, and of course he knew John and knew the band and everything. And he just asked John if we'd be interested. And I tell you, it didn't take but about 10 seconds to call the guys and ask them if they were up for it. And they immediately said yes. And we said, Jake, put us on the bill. And that's how we end up on the show. It's our first time being a part of it. We're honored to be asked, and we're honored to play. We're looking forward to it. The Sunday, it's going to be a great show. I think there's 9 bands total. And they start at 11 or 11:30. I think we play at 7 p.m. Over at Wick's in New Albany. And we've never played Wick's in New Albany, so we're looking forward to that as well. But I heard you guys talking about the show when I joined in. And, the cause, you just can't beat the cause. These kids in the camps, to send the kids to the camps and let them enjoy life, in an atmosphere they wouldn't normally get to enjoy is just, it fills your heart, man. It gives you an opportunity to give back and give these kids something to look forward to. So how could you say no to them, We're glad to
exactly. I was Jake and Jake. I'm good friends with Jake and their bands. Jake asked me if I wanted to end the show. So what I thought was going to be a 2 to 3 hour Sundays, now I think I've committed myself to 8, 9, 10 hours. So I'll look forward to meeting you and the Caribou brothers. Yeah. So
good for you, man. I'm glad you're on board. That's great.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we let you go, Bill, share with us all of your social media. How can everyone keep in touch with Caribou?
Okay. Our website is caribourock.com. And, of course, that has pictures of the band. It has all our upcoming dates. It has some video. It has some of our audio on there as well. There's a story about Caribou, how it got started. It's pretty much the story I told you guys earlier. And then, we've got a Facebook page, which is just Caribou Facebook. You can go there as well anytime and see where we're going to be or where we have just been, and also look at photos of the band and things like that. So those are the two best places to go to keep up with the band. Very cool.
Wow. And like right now, primarily, are you all, you guys are basically just dictating your all schedule. Who doesn't want Caribou to play at one of their venues? I'm a big fan. You pretty much have carte blanche to a lot of places in town.
Yeah, well, since this room that I'm sitting in isn't full of musicians, I'll say yeah. We're booking a lot of gigs. If there's a bunch of guys standing here that play, I wouldn't say this, but yeah, we're booking a lot of gigs. We're actually turning down some just because the schedule is getting full. We don't do the club thing as much because it's just our crowd, doesn't necessarily stay up as late as they used to. They come out earlier and leave sooner, right. So the club thing really isn't our thing. So we're doing a lot of corporate events. We're doing a lot of fundraisers like the Country for the Kids, as well as we'll do a wedding now and then, that kind of thing. And any kind of party you want to throw, we can make it work. But you're right, Kevin. Yeah, like I said earlier, I'm really amazed at how much we're working after being together for 41, 42 years. And, we're not getting any younger, but we sure are having a whole lot of fun. And as long as the fun keeps up and the people keep screaming our names, as they say, then we'll keep on doing it. So it's just been a heck of a ride.
Yeah. And the chicks still throwing clothing onto the stage, that will never get old.
Not as much as they used to.
As they used to.
Okay, we won't go there, Kevin. All right.
I know, out of respect for you. Okay.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, Greg, man, Bill came on and killed it. This is the first time I've actually got to meet and talk to Bill. So, Bill, my pleasure. I can't wait to meet up with you Sunday. And man, continued success. And
hey, thank you, man. I appreciate your show, Kevin. What you're doing for local music, even the Wednesday night thing, is absolutely fantastic. And I know everybody. I speak for all the musicians out there. If they've ever played a note in front of another person, they appreciate the show, and they appreciate you and Greg coming on there and having the local guys come on like myself and talk about their bands. And boy, keep on rocking, pal. You got it together, and it sounds great.
Thanks so much.
Thanks.
I love this.
Hey,
all right,
Bill, tell John I said hey, and tell the guys that
I'll do it.
I said hello, and I'll look for y'all Sunday, man.
All right, brother. We'll keep up there. Look forward to it. Yeah. All right, man.
Bill, one more thing, Bill. Shannon Mort texted me and told me to tell you hello. She was going to try to call in, but she just shot me a text and hello. So, and love you and all that good stuff. So
okay. Well, respond for me, Kevin.
Yeah.
Tell her I love her back. All right.
Yeah, I think she's going to be there Sunday too. So we'll all get to hang out.
Okay, cool.
So.
All right.
All right, bro.
Okay, man.
Thanks so much for.
All right, brother.
Coming. All right.
Hey, thanks for having me on, man. See you.
All right, brother. Thank you, man.
All right, Greg. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Great segment. Once again, Unthank with the connections.
Absolutely, man. Bill and Caribou, Bill and John are total pros, man. That's why they've been doing it around town for so long. Everybody's heard Caribou. And it's all good, So
it's all good.
Couldn't ask for a better guest.
Yeah.
Played with Vince Neil and Tommy Lee.
That was.
How about that?
That's. I try to bait these guys when I say, "Give me a TMZ story," and that was a damn good TMZ moment.
Hey, and I'm sure our next guest, Pat Bareis, has got some TMZ stories as well.
going to continue. Check out this quick promo, and then we're going to turn Pat's mic on.
This is Tony with Kirby's Dreamland. We're going to be playing New Directions this Friday and Saturday night. Come on out and watch us do it.
Do it.
Do it. And they'll be actually don't be at the it. What's Tony going to do?
He's going to do it. He's going to do some fast picking and some stomping on the ground.
They're also at the Saturday or Sunday is. So that's well, let's without further ado, let's bring in our guy Pat Bareis. Pat, what's up, man?
What's going on, guys?
Hey, Pat.
Greg, Kevin, how y'all doing?
Doing good, brother.
Good. We're just doing what we do on a Wednesday, man. Thanks for coming on.
Chilling like villain.
Chilling like Bob Dylan.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, man, it's a pleasure to be on your show, man. I missed the last one, but I've been looking forward to getting on Shooting from the Lip. I listen to it every week, so it's really a cool show.
Thanks. Greg, you know, having a lot of buddies who, you know, have been in the music scene locally or actually wherever, you know, nationally, come on and talented, and we've not had a bad segment with one of these guys, Greg. So these guys have just been able to share a lot of history, a lot of good stories, and they're, you know, talented people too. So, Pat, welcome, man. Welcome to the show.
Hey, that's what happens. Everybody loves and respects Greg. You know what I mean? He's a great player.
They do.
Great family guy. He knows everybody in town. Actually, before I met him one time, we was looking for a drummer. And Barry King, the legendary, awesome guitar player, said, man, call Greg Unthank. So it's kind of a strange last name. Is it any good? He said, he can play everything, man.
God bless Barry King, man.
Hey, that was my introduction to Greg Unthank. So he's a well-respected man around town doing things so conservatively. I think that's the key. Hey, but it's a pleasure to be on the show, man. I'm gonna go ahead and talk a bunch of trash and promote these shows.
Do it.
All right.
Do it. This is this segment's go.
Well, Crazy Train, my Ozzy tribute that I've been doing since I was a guppy. We're playing September 23rd at Diamond's Concert Hall, and I'm also going to do something I've never done. I'm going to do the Bob Seger tribute before that. So I'm going to grow a little goatee, and then I'm going to go backstage and shave it and put on the eye makeup, the Ozzy shit. So that's what's going on September 23rd. And then, for you people who don't know, there's a little club in Shively called Ott's Tavern. Awesome place, man. And we played there doing my band Bloodshot a couple of weeks ago, and the place was packed, and everybody had a good time. It's a real safe, cool place. And I'm going to do the Kings of Love, which is a soul band that I sing in. And it's Richard Streander, John Hayes on drums, and Paul Bennett on bass. And these guys are, like, incredible. We play all Motown, James Brown, Marvin Gaye, just all the old soul 60s stuff, mainly. So I'm in, like, 4 bands right now, man. What y'all doing?
Yeah. I'm in a couple. I've been tossed to.
I'll go watch you all.
What I would like you to talk about for a minute is your history with the Crazy Train tribute, man. Because, man, you did that for a couple days for sure, and you were like one of the top draws in the country for an Ozzy tribute band. And I mean, you were dead on. I mean, I remember back in the day, dude. I'm going to take you back to the Platorium in Fairdale when we were kids, and you were up there playing with cover bands, you know, and you know the cover band would do an Ozzy song, and then all of a sudden, you know, the light bulb would go off in everybody's head. They would be like, man, this dude even looks like Ozzy and sounds just like him, man. You know, and then all of a sudden, Pat's got this killer ass, you know, Ozzy tribute band. talk about how that evolved and what all you guys did, man, because I know you toured with that thing and it was successful for quite a long time.
Yeah, it was. I hope we got enough time. Look, when I was a young kid, I never really was a fan of Ozzy. I loved Black Sabbath, but Ozzy was Ozzy, and I liked all the soul music and all the Motown. I mean, I wanted to be like James. I thought James Brown was my daddy. Anyway, everywhere I go, people say, "Man, anybody ever tell you look like Ozzy?" Oh, yeah, I hear it all the time. And then there was an agent out of Cincinnati, long distance production, Greg St. Charles. He had us come up and audition, and he had like 30 bands trying to add bands to. Well, I didn't want to do it. I thought it was like an Elvis impersonator. All the guys in the band, Jimmy Clark, Scott Grable, and we had a young bass player. These guys were all in their early 20s. I was probably 35 at the time. They all said, "Man, let's do it." And then I had a couple agents that said, "Man, you could do this tribute thing." Tom Kent, which is DC Productions, a local production PA like guy, he kept telling me to do it, and I was like, nah. Well, the guys in the band wanted to do it. We were writing music as a group called Pagolina. We was trying to get the record deal, and we tried to sound like the San Francisco thrash bands, and we were up on all that shit. So anyway, this agent says, "Hey, man, I can get you blah, 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 X amount of dollars and free food and hotel rooms and, radio advertising. You're playing these big venues." And I said, could you say that again? Because I had 4 young kids at the time, and me and my wife got married really young. Been married 41 years coming up in January. Anyway, I needed money, and I had 4 young kids, and times were tough, so I thought, wow, $1,500 a night and hotel rooms and food and beer and water and playing in Harpo's in Detroit, and we played in all these magnificent venues, House of Blues, and within we were practicing in the garage trying to be an original band. And a month later, we were traveling to Rochester, New York, and Chicago and Detroit, and it was unbelievable that it happened that fast. So I'm not ashamed to be. I'm one of them guys. I got into music to make money. I'm not the artist guy that You know what I mean? There's different reasons. I had a young family, so once they offered me the money, I started saying, "Hell, I do kind of look like Ozzy." I look a little bit like Ozzy. And look, I love Ozzy. Okay, I love Ozzy. I put kids through college and raised my family, and it was like a really great thing. But I'm still wanting to write songs. I still want to sing soul music. That's what I was as a kid,
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I really like that blues funk, boy.
Oh, thank you, man. Yeah. I know we had talked on the phone, and I'll get back with you. The boys are interested in doing that ops thing, man. So we'll talk about that. But I appreciate it.
At the little bitty place, we had 150 people in there. Like, people were dancing. Everybody got along. It's like a really cool place. If you all want to come up the next time we play, you're more welcome. I don't think I could go on after you all, but I'll try.
No, shoot. It's all about the love of music, man. That's what it's all about. Yeah. I appreciate it.
So, Pat, you said right now, but Crazy Train is still going. So you're saying you're with 4 projects right now?
Yeah, I'm doing the Ozzy thing. We got a Bob Seger tribute with the piano player and the horn player. Same guy. Stevie Anderson plays guitar. Ruben Sandoval plays bass. And I got this little 18-year-old drummer that's a monster. Nick Denham is his name. And we got a great band together. And then I do the soul music, Kings of Love, with my cousin on drums, John Hayes, and we got Paul Bennett on bass. So that's a soul music thing. And then I also got this band together called Bloodshot, where we just started getting together, rehearsing the other groups. And we started playing a bunch of Thin Lizzy and Van Halen and Led Zeppelin and Montrose and Leonard Skinner. And then so now we got a band called Bloodshot that we're playing around town. It's cool.
So you're playing good stuff.
Man, I woke up one day and said, fuck the money. Excuse my language. Forget the money.
Oh, you can say fuck on here. It's all right.
I need to have fun. I want to have fun again, And all four of these bands are like fun to me. We don't make a lot of money like we did back in the day or whatever, but that's not important, What's important is I'm having fun again, and that's what I want to do. I love to sing. I can play every instrument, but I suck on all of them, so I leave that to the other guys.
Man, Pat, you shared a cool story with me over the phone, and I want you to talk about it on the air here. You talked about Blue Funk and Johnny Edwards and our singer, and how Johnny was the singer for Foreigner for a while. And you had mentioned that you had gone and played, I think it was in New York, and that was the home of Lou Gramm. Share that story. That was a pretty funny story.
It was funny. I'll make it real quick. We're traveling all around. We go to Rochester, New York. Well, I've never been to Rochester, don't know nothing about Rochester. So I thought, man, I need to find something that these people are going to relate to, something to do with their hometown. So I get on stage, and we played 2 or 3 songs, and people were loving it, and everything's good. And I said, man, it's a pleasure to be in Rochester, New York, home of Lou Gramm. And everybody goes, boo, fuck Lou Gramm. He sucks, fuck. And I was like, oh, man, like.
Wow.
The audience went from loving me to automatically. They thought I was Ozzy, so they loved me. And then I mentioned Lou Gramm, they all of a sudden fucking.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Throwing shit.
Yeah.
Well, they
that was
regular stuff. I'm sorry, Greg.
No, I was going to say I consider Lou Gramm to be one of the great rock and roll voices of the 70s, 80s, and Foreigner back then was the shit. And I do see where the crowd. Go ahead.
Well, let him finish the story, because he'll tell you why that they don't like Lou a whole lot.
Go ahead.
I think they were throwing beer cans and shit at us. I'm like, oh, man, I shouldn't have said that. Didn't know why. Then after the show was over, we was meeting people and talking and stuff. And I said, man, what's the deal with Lou Gramm? Why don't y'all like him? They said, man, he was just a regular guy, played in clubs his whole life in Rochester. And then when he got rich and famous and Foreigner, he moved way up on the hill on the lake and had a fucking gated community and never came around no more. I was like, oh, man, I wish I wouldn't have said that. Yeah. He ended up turning into a pompous fucking asshole, And everybody knew him before he got famous. I don't know. And then another funny story, I was in Las Vegas one time. We played out there 3 times, and I'm riding in this cab, and this guy goes, I said, hey, where are you from, buddy? Because nobody's from Las Vegas. He says, I'm from Rochester, New York. I said, oh, yeah, I used to play there, man. I said, that's home of Lou Gramm. He said, yeah, Lou Gramm's my cousin. He had his back to me. And I said, no fucking way. And he turned around, and he had the curly hair and them bug eyes, and I said, you are Lou Gramm's cousin. Looked exactly like
Wow.
I fucking looked exactly like it. I said, oh, you ain't Lou Gramm's cousin. You're fucking nut. There's nobody in Vegas from Vegas, He turned around and looked just like I was asking I was going to ask him, hey, you know Blue Morning, Blue Day?
Yeah, sing it for me.
That's my favorite Foreigner song.
Yeah.
Man, I appreciate y'all letting me call in. I'm talking shit, man. I'm sitting out on my front porch in the ghetto. And, everything's good.
You do the Bob Seger thing too, right?
Yeah, man. I never was a big Bob Seger fan, but after we started learning his songs and rehearsing them, oh, man, what great music. That dude is awesome. He was just always on the radio all the time, so I didn't pay a lot of attention to it. But, man, what a great songwriter and a great singer. He's got that old soul voice, and he smokes, and so do I. I'm not going to tell you what I do. My voice sounds like Bob Seger, so that's kind of cool. And I got a killer band. It's called Live Bullet. Everybody, please come to September 23rd at Diamond's Concert Hall and see the band, because I'm really proud of these guys and how great musicians and players they are. And they've been working their ass off trying to get the show ready, just because we haven't played in Louisville in several years. So we're wanting to have people come out and see that the old man ain't finished yet.
There you go.
Yeah, that's a cool venue. That's a cool venue too, man. I hope you get have a lot of success out there, because that's a cool place to play for sure.
Yeah, we'll do our part to help promote that. Yeah.
All right, well, I'll come back on next week if y'all need a guest.
We'll get that. Well, actually, you'll get you back before the September thing, because I do want to go see it, because I do like Diamonds. That's a great place to hang out. So yeah, definitely. One other thing you were sharing with me a story. You're part of this boxing club. Share that, Pat.
Yeah, my sons, Jason, Sean, and Nicholas Bareis, they started this boxing club. It's called Louisville Select Boxing. And they started in a little basement off of Southern Parkway with a couple of punching bags and some jump ropes and weights and stuff. And they started training these kids. Well, they've got 4 kids that are from at-risk lifestyles, if you know what I mean. They live down the West End. 2 of them, their mother got murdered when they were 6 and 8, so they got some serious issues. They're 13 and 15 now, and they're going through life without their mother. So they've had a really tough time. And, man, these little kids train. Anyway, we went to Kansas City this past weekend, and Demetrius Man Duncan won the world championship. And there were kids from Ireland, Alaska, Mexico, all over the world. It was a world championship. So I'm really proud of my sons that they started this thing from nothing, and they just believed in themselves. And they got these 4 kids. They don't just take on anybody. They take on kids that want to run 3 miles a day and work and eat right and do good in school. And they got like some standards that they apply to these kids. If you can't do this, you ain't in this program. So they've only got 4 or 5 fighters. But, man, it is so awesome. One of the most craziest things I ever witnessed was this little boy that, like I said, lost his mother and lives in the ghetto, and he's subject to gangs and violence and dope and all kinds of shit. And he's doing boxing, and he told me on the ride home, I want to make some money boxing so I can take care of my sisters. Oh, man, I had like tears rolling.
Man, that's the best story right there, man.
Man, I'm telling you, my 3 sons are reaching back to only a few kids, but if everybody would reach back and take care of 3 or 4 kids, or, you know what I mean, like give the kid a ride down the street, or have him over for dinner. Just do something. Reach back and believe in these kids, because they believed in these kids, and the little dude just won a world championship. I can't even express and explain how big of a deal that is. He beat a kid from Cincinnati. He beat a kid from Chicago. He beat a kid from Albuquerque, New Mexico. And, you know what I mean? Like, they were from all over the United States. And it was just fucking blast. If anybody wants to get their son involved in a great program and they want to pay the price and do the exercising and that kind of stuff, contact Louisville Select Boxing. That's my son runs boxing club. And, man, they're serious about it, and they don't play no games. Kids are going to be involved in it. They got to, like, really work at it, and that's why it's paying off now. So they're getting ready to go fight in the Golden Gloves thing in September or something up in Portsmouth, Ohio or something. And they travel around. They take all the money out of their pocket to pay for this. You know, they feed them. They pick them up. They pay for all the equipment. They pay for hotel rooms, rental cars, travel. It's unbelievable, man. I'm so proud of them. So ask me to speak about that, what it is, man. I guess you can tell I'm a proud daddy.
Well, that's great, man.
No,
that's an awesome story, man. Yeah. You're right. If everybody could reach out to a kid, I could tell a story. There's a boy down 2 houses down from me, and he became friends with my son, and his father had been killed in a drug deal a few years ago, and I felt that, connection to try to help out this kid, and man, after him hanging out with my son and coming over to the house and us feeding him and doing stuff, he broke in our garage and stole my son's motorcycle and crashed it.
Good Lord.
Yeah. And it was a huge ordeal. I mean, this kid changed from a really cool kid that I wanted to help to an enemy. And we had to, talk to his mother, who's, obviously having issues with the boy because I think stems from the loss of his father. But even now, after all of that, the kid is really in lots of trouble. He is even in a camp right now. He's in like a camp for troubled kids. I would still like to help this kid, just because of the issue, what he's had to deal with. There's something there. He needs something. He needs a father figure. But that's really cool that your sons are doing this to help kids like that, man. So I can see the connection there.
It's fun, man. We went to Kansas City, and the other day, the younger one was standing next to me, and they called me Pops, and he looked up at me and he said, "Pops." I said, "What, man?" He said, "I love you." And I thought, man, that's worth the whole effort,
Yeah, it makes you feel good, buddy. Yeah,
absolutely.
Hey, so, Greg, one thing I was amazed at, and I think I told you, how many musicians come from you and Kevin Feller and Tony McElwain, and the whole group that y'all were like younger than me. I just seen y'all coming up and didn't really know all you guys. It was astonishing of all them people that come out at all you guys jamming in the garages and the basements, and then all them people were that successful. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, well, Pat, it's kind of like the same deal with you, man. I mean, when we were playing, we were nobody. We were just a little garage band, and we all stayed with it. But, in that same time period, you had bands like Sullenbeck's down the street. James Osborne and Chris Clark. Chris very well, and Jeff Thomas. Yeah. You had those cats in those bands. That was the same time period. And you had you going on, and we just kind of stuck with it. And you still got some guys out there in that same time period that stuck with it as well. But us 4 guys, us 5 guys that seem to kind of stay with it, man. And it's kind of funny to see the direction we've all gone. But we had 3 of the 4 guys on last weekend, and man, it was a hoot. It was like a trip back in time for myself. Tony came on, and Roger came on, and Kevin Feller was there. The only guy missing was Tony Frank. He wasn't available, but yeah, man, it was.
Well, and Paul Hare.
Hare. Yeah, Paul. He was playing in bands at that time. But yeah, it was fun.
Oh yeah, that's where we learned to play rock and roll.
That is, man.
You know what I mean? Warehouses and basements and garages and.
Well, back in them days, Pat, I don't know, Kevin, do you remember the Platorium?
Yeah. Oh, Kevin.
What's it called again?
It was called the Platorium. It was called the Platorium. It was in Fairdale. It was in front of Fairdale Elementary School. It was this building. It was just like a little building where they used to do functions and clogging and stuff. Well, what was going on back in them days is bands would get in touch with this guy who ran the place, and they would rent it out for a night. He had a price. So bands would rent it out. He had a stage that he could set up, and the bands would rent it out. They would advertise with posters at Iroquois Park and all over the South End on telephone poles with their posters, and they would put on a concert, man. And I mean, and it was big time for us. You know, Pat knows, he remembers, man. It was a hoot, man. People would fill up the parking lot, and you know, kids out there drinking and partying, doing stuff they shouldn't be doing, and going in and play time and watching these bands play like they're rock stars, man. It was a good time back then, man. That's where I cut my teeth, that's for
sure. Wow. Yeah, I'm not familiar with that place, but
yeah. You got to be tapped in.
It was kind of a big old barn-like place, but it held like 500 or 600 people, and they would pack it out, man. I mean, the place would be stone packed. Well, it's funny you mentioned James Osborne because he was in Sullenbeck's.
Yeah.
He got out of Sullenbeck's, and I had just been in a band with Bobby Neal, Bob Kestel, and Alan Phelps called Riff Rat. And then Alan Phelps and Bob Kestel joined Buster Brown. So Bobby put a band together called the Stank Scam that was awesome. And I was kind of looking around looking for something to do, and James quit Sullenbeck's. And that was Jerry, Chris, Jeff Thomas. And that was the only show I did with them. We did Stryper and Iron Maiden, a bunch of stuff I wasn't really used to, but I did one show with them, and then the band kind of dissolved, so I would say, after that. But yeah, I did one show with Sullenbeck's, and man, those guys were so good, it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Chris Clark is an amazing musician.
Wow. And he's not with us anymore, is he?
No, he's not with us, and his brother Dave passed away, and Jeni,
he passed away.
On the Crazy Train, he passed away at like 21 years old, tragically. And now they're real sorry for their mother because she lost all three of her sons. Kind of chokes me up about it, man. But
I know. He was playing with you back then.
Well, they used to practice over in their house like 3 or 4 in the afternoon. We called it the Clark Hotel because it was kind of out of control. And man, there was Mark Lambert and different people used to come over. Larry Elmore played bass, and they used to come over and play in the afternoon. And it was unbelievable the talent of these 15, 18-year-old kids just playing in the living room at the Clark Hotel. I don't know if you ever went over on that, Greg, but it was out of control. I don't want to say nothing on the radio, but
no, I'd never been over there, but I do remember when Chris Clark, when his name started getting out, and he was a phenomenal player, man. He played with power and precision, and was just blowing everybody away.
They had that old sex, drugs, rock and roll problem, and they couldn't overcome it. So, God rest their soul. I love them, man. You know, I love those guys. And
they were good fellas, man.
It's one of them things, man. You know.
Yeah.
Well, how long y'all want me to stay on here, man? Get me to go some pancakes.
Well, we'll wrap this up because we've been on since 10. Share, you talked about you got the gig coming up in September. Anything else going on for you between now and then?
Yeah. August 13th at Hotch Tavern with my soul band. We play all Motown, and I get to sing James Brown. And it's a great group. And then Bloodshot play at Gilbert's, and we're back at Hotch sometimes in September. And I'll be around, man. Y'all just holler at me on Facebook or keep up with my post, and I'll let you know.
Yeah. You gonna do some
stuff?
Greg, you need to come out. You need to come out one night, and if you're off, I know you're a busy man, but come out one night and get up and play a few songs with us doing that soul stuff.
Yeah, I'd like to, man. I love playing with Paul Bennett for sure, man. I've played with Paul a few times, and he's a smoking player, man. He's definitely got the groove, don't he?
He's one of the best I've ever seen, like in the world, who can play bass. And me and Paul are real good friends, and we laugh. He's a funny guy, and he's fun to be around. Only thing about Paul, he shows up 10 minutes before the gig.
I know those guys.
If you're supposed to come
I know those guys.
Here comes Paul Bennett's Cadillac pulling up at 10 till 9. I'm like, oh, man. But boy, he can seriously play. He's really a talented guy. Yeah, I don't know. He's one of the best I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
All right, man. Well, holler back at me. I'll be on next week if somebody cancels.
Yeah, we'll definitely we'll keep you in the loop because we definitely I want to go check out the September gig at Diamond. So Pat, very cool. Thanks for
come and see the Ozzy Black Sabbath. This band I got is incredible. So I want everybody to come and see it if they can. All right, thanks, Greg. Thanks.
Sure.
Kevin.
All right, buddy. We'll see you, Pat. Thanks for calling in, man.
Thanks, man.
Y'all, man.
All right, take care, Pat. Another fun segment, Greg.
Yeah, he's eat up, ain't he?
Yeah, a lot of history, man. Just hearing these stories, man. It just.
Yeah.
I guess what's so funny is that how. We're just going back in time with, certain, when I hear, Toy Tiger or, different little spots, my mind goes back to, because, shit, we were teenagers, youngsters then, or early 20s, and it's when we were still all, not, you guys in music were, finding your niche and, working out all your kinks to get you to where you're at now or where you, eventually was successful or happy to be at. And, it's memory. It's fun. It's cool. It's cool to hear these stories. So another solid show.
Yeah, we definitely need to try and go out and catch Pat at one of these shows. I'd like to get that Diamond show, get a good showing out there for him,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll
in.
promote it. I'll definitely promote it. So, all right, any gigs? You got anything coming up?
I don't have anything till the end of the month. Spare Change Millionaires will be playing back out at the winery, Villanova Winery, Mount Washington. And then September, I've got another gig with Spare Change late in September, and then I'm playing in a small little festival with the Rigby's, the Beatles tribute band. That's coming up in. Actually, I think that's in a couple of weeks. I have to look at my calendar. October, I'm going to be really busy playing a few different gigs. Let's see, I'm looking at my calendar right now. Yeah, I've got the Rigby's on the 20th. That's an out-of-town gig. That's going to be real fun. Then Spare Change Millionaires on the 27th at the winery. And then in September, back with Spare Change Millionaires on the 17th somewhere. I don't have marked down where we're playing at. But then, there's also the Kevin McCreary benefit that's going on for our buddy Kevin. I need to bring that up. That's going to be on September the 18th, and we need to keep mentioning that to get as many people as we can. That's going to be, I can't remember where that's going to be at. I think it might be at Wicks.
No, I think that's, I thought this was it's not at Diamond?
Is it at Diamond also? Okay.
I was thinking it is.
I'm going to be playing actually with the Brian Fox band. It's Brian Fox and Good Chickens. Brian writes some very good country music. I'm part of his live band. It's myself and Kevin. Kevin's actually in the band, and Chip Adams and John Hawkins. And, we're going to be playing around 2 o'clock for that benefit show. And then
have they already got the lineup, the bands situated?
I think they've got some people, but I don't know who they are. I just know that we're part of the 2. We're going to be playing at 2, and I'm sure that they've got other bands. They're working on it.
Yeah, I'll Kevin Manning, who's with the Velvet Saints. I know he's heavily involved, so he'll be coming on.
Yeah.
Promoted this as well, so actually I was planning on if I felt better and actually I was supposed to meet my daughter tonight to at Bistro's for a quick dinner because Kevin and Christine Devereaux, Kev and Dev are playing out Bistro tonight.
Yeah.
So I didn't get to go. So.
And I want to say real quick, man, I hope I don't get cut off like I have been the last few nights or last few weeks. I don't know what happens.
No, actually, it wasn't per se you got cut off. I think the last time you were on, it got cut off. You lost me because my freaking, knock on wood, nothing's gone down. It's been fine tonight. Right. So,
but I think it happened a couple times before that. It's just I was gone. I'm chatting and then I'm gone, and I don't know if there's like a time limit on when I call in or what it is.
I have the show set up for 90 minutes of live time. If we go past the 90 minutes, people will, like at 11:30, the live feed cuts off. We can still talk. We can talk and we can keep going up for, over up to 2 hours if we wanted. And it records it. It's just us. But I think it was last time it was, I don't know. I have to figure that out. Maybe it was, I don't know why. But anyways,
yeah. Well, it's all good. I'm just saying I hope it don't happen again.
Yeah. we gotta keep that voice online, and your people want to hear you.
That's right.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So
back up to talk about what I was playing. I also have a gig coming up the 29th. I wanted to bring this up. It would be I'm looking at my calendar right now. It would be the 30th of September, which would be for Brian Fox. It would be as a CD release party, and that's going to be at Baxter's 942. So I'm going to be promoting that when it gets closer, and then Two Lanes the following night with the Spare Change Millionaires, and then Blue Funk will be playing. Our next gig will be October the 8th, and that's going to be at the Belknap Fest. So,
wow, okay.
Got a lot of stuff coming up here in the next few months. A little bit of time off, then I hit strong September and October.
Good, cool. All right, good show. Thank guests tonight, Bill Keeling from the group Caribou, and Pat Bareis, who is part of this Crazy Train tribute to Ozzy, Black Sabbath, and Live Bullet, the tribute to Bob Seger. Yeah. Good stories tonight, man. It was fun segment. Yeah. I guess you and I will connect Sunday.
Yeah, right? Man. Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely get out there. Right. I hope you feel better too, and have a good night. And tell Dev and Kev I said hey.
Yeah, we'll connect Sunday. Thanks, Greg. Good show.
At no time were any animals or people hurt during this presentation of Shooting from the Lip.